Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Valen. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be reviewing a movie called From the Depths. It was on Amazon Prime for free, and it looked somewhat interesting. It had like 3 stars, 2.5, something like that. So I thought, it's probably not like a terrible movie, as terrible as Shark Hunters was, so may as well try it out, right? Well, it was certainly different. It made me feel things. Some not so good. But, so let's get started. So I'm going to be reviewing this movie more for its, like, plot line and the camera work more than how accurate it is about surviving shark attacks and, like, sharks itself. Just looking at the summary. After surviving a shark attack, a young woman is plagued by nightmares of being stalked in the dark sea by a ravenous predator and hallucinations of visits from her sister and boyfriend, both who were killed in the attack. It seems like it's not going to take place in the ocean for long at all. It's more like a psychological thriller, but we'll see. The movie starts off like so many of its kind with an overview shot of the ocean, but instead of it panning over a beautiful, spacious beach with blue-green water, it looks to be in the middle of the ocean. I have to admit it's a bit intimidating, especially if you're phobic of the ocean because you can't see the bottom. It's kind of freaky. The first interaction we have with the main character, Liz, is a dream sequence. She's in the middle of the ocean by herself in what appears to be in the middle of the night, and there's a shark circling her. I will say that this is a terrible idea. I don't know what the situation is yet, but whether you love the ocean or not, you never go swimming or surfing or kayaking or whatever you do after the sun sets. Ideally, you shouldn't go in the ocean anywhere near dusk. That's when it's feeding time and you are certainly more likely to provoke a shark attack or at least an investigation from a shark. But she wakes up and she's fine. In the next scene, she's on the couch and she's looking through some old photos of her and some friends, I'm assuming, at the beach, and she starts to have a panic attack. One word of advice: if you're not ready to see something that's given you emotional distress before, take time and get help before going back to look at it, or just get rid of it altogether. We see her in therapy, and she's talking about her nightmares, but we find out it's been a year since the attack. Obviously, she's still struggling. The therapist asks if Liz still blames herself, but we still don't find out why yet. She doesn't seem to get on with her therapist very well, though, because all she asks her is, how do you feel about this or that? I didn't start watching this movie with mental health advice in mind, but here's another one. If you don't mesh well with your therapist, get another one. The right doctor can really change your life. She has a conversation with a friend named Roberta, that doesn't really lead anywhere besides venting about her therapist, but it reminds me of my relationship with my friends and the kind of conversations we'd have sometimes, so I'm not too upset. After she finishes talking with her friend, she starts to hear chiming of some sort. Ominous music starts playing, so you know a jump scare is about to happen. See, she hallucinates a shark coming at her down the hallway, and she screams. Was I surprised? No. Did I giggle? Yeah. And oh my god, Roberta is her girlfriend! Yay! Queer representation. I was so surprised that I almost started clapping, like I did just now, like an idiot. And apparently, making sweet love keeps the sharks away. Wow, who knew? I've never seen that in a scientific journal before. However, just like every other movie with a gay couple in it, there are some issues between them. Liz's trauma has made her somewhat prickly in the relationship, and she isn't ready to be intimate with her girlfriend, and Roberta is getting a little impatient. All relationships have their ups and downs. Sure. But there's a pattern with queer people in movies. Either someone dies, or they break up, and never get a happy ending. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. Moving on. Liz has another nightmare with the same setup, and this time we see the shark coming for her, but she wakes up just in time. I know they want to kind of draw it out, probably for just length's sake, but I don't know. If there's going to be 5 more 10-second dream sequences, I'd rather they just show us the whole thing later, in like one long one. Another therapy session, and she says Roberta is too good to be true. She sounds like she wants to break up with her girlfriend because Roberta is too good for her. Ugh. I hate where this is going. Her therapist asks her if she thought about the pool yet. Unsurprisingly, Liz is like, hell no. Honestly, if I was involved in a shark attack, I'd never go swimming again. During the end of the appointment, Liz sees the silhouette of a shark by the curtain windows. I may have laughed. I'm not trying to poke fun at the trauma itself. I've heard testimonials from shark attack survivors that they say in the beginning they see the shark everywhere, but visually it just looks really silly. I don't know what they could have done differently, but just not that. Even though she just had another hallucination at her therapist's office, in the next scene she's trying to meditate by the pool near the water, which she's terrified of. She's not able to concentrate because of a flashback of her and her ex-boyfriend Seth. Nothing happens in the flashback, but then she hears a man using a leaf blower outside. She goes to confront him because she has a headache from the lack of sleep, but he's just doing his job. She completely flips out on him, and he's like, what the fuck, lady? She realizes she's acting a tad unhinged and apologizes, and he says he'll just do his job quickly and leave, as not to disturb her for more than necessary. The next part of the scene is pretty fucked up. The shark comes out of a puddle near the leaf blower and bites his arm off. He screams and writhes on the ground, and Liv smiles like she's enjoying watching him die, basically. But then we go back to reality, and she realizes she was just daydreaming. She tells her girlfriend about her snapping at the leaf blower man, but not about her hallucination. Another dream sequence. This time she actually talks to the shark and tells it to leave her alone. It responds by taking her leg. She has both of her legs in real life, so we can assume that didn't actually happen. So, this next scene is unintentionally hilarious. She hears the chimes again and walks to a door in the hallway. We see a large shark puppet with drool between his teeth coming... Sorry. Coming towards her. It looks so fake. I don't know if that was the point, but it's not scary. The beginning of the movie was actually pretty decent, but now it just feels kind of repetitive and cheesy. It's slowly going downhill, which honestly is the theme of this movie. At this point, it's just getting steadily worse. She tries to drink some water to calm herself down, but she sees a fin in the glass. When she looks up, her sister, her sister is standing there with awful dead makeup on, trying to engage her in casual conversation about food. This whole scene is pretty weird, to be honest. Liz is pretty sure she's hallucinating badly, and Peyton says she should let go of Roberta because she's bad news. Liz asks why, and instead of answering, Peyton goes off on a tangent about how she slept with Liz's ex-boyfriend. Liz had suspected they were cheating, but didn't know, and we find out that Liz supposedly hesitated when trying to pull her sister onto the boat, letting the shark get her. This is just what Peyton says, so we can't be sure yet. And what the actual fuck is wrong with her therapist? During these little sessions, she acts like she's more of an intriguing experiment instead of an actual person with real problems. She kind of sucks. Liz probably wouldn't be in a bad spot if her therapist wasn't just a thin piece of wheat bread. Not even just wheat bread, but like gluten-free bread. Do you know what I mean? Liz tells Roberta about the attack, and we see a scar on the back of her leg. For a shark bite, that looks really minor. It looks more like she might have gotten cut with a knife and not had 300 serrated teeth sink into your skin. Even when a shark bite heals on somebody, it still looks like really gnarly. It doesn't just look like somebody circled her leg with a knife. She tells Roberta how Peyton and Seth died. She got on the raft in time, not without a bite of her own, and Seth was the first one to go. He was pulled under. Peyton swam towards the boat, but Liz feels like she might have hesitated and wanted the shark to get her sister because, she knew they were cheating together, but she wasn't sure. Well, she says she wasn't sure. Liz goes to the bathroom to make herself presentable for Roberta, but she sees Seth in the mirror. You don't see the relationship they had before they died, but in the afterlife, or her hallucination, he's a big fucking douchebag. He's jealous of Roberta. He tries to convince Liz to break up with her, but she doesn't listen to him. Because of this episode, of course, they don't do anything, but Roberta is still there for her all the same. She has another nightmare, but this time it's a huge shark mouth ascending towards her. It's actually pretty freaky. I'll give them a well done for that. Peyton comes back, but Liz takes it better this time. I think she's getting used to this fucked up relationship with her psyche. Peyton tells Liz that if she doesn't break up with Roberta, she and Seth will keep bugging her. Except she didn't say break up. This Peyton wants her to kill Roberta. Liz isn't willing to accept that, and Peyton just goes all demon-faced before she leaves.
Alright, sis. I gotta head. But remember what I said, okay?
I don't even know what you said.
Yeah, you do.
I still don't understand why.
Get rid of her!
What even is this movie right now? Her therapist gets pushy about her going to the pool with Roberta, and the doctor's face gets kind of, psychopathic for a second. Liz says no again, but when you know it, next scene, Roberta is trying to gently persuade her into the pool, but she's just sitting down on a lawn chair in, a towel or whatever you call it. It looks like a really, really thin jacket that people wear to the beach a lot, like a cover. That's what it is. She eventually folds and puts a toe in. Roberta is so sweet and supportive, and I love her. But then another hallucination about the shark eating Roberta ruins everything. Boo! She calls her therapist, and we come in the middle of the conversation. It sounds like her therapist is holding her hostage or something. We can deduce that they were talking about her being on meds, but Liz admits she wasn't focusing on meditation or exercising, so she's being lazy, and asks if she can try harder before being put on medication. When you're talking to a doctor about your mental health, you don't have to agree to be put on medication. It helps a lot, speaking from personal experience. It helps. But unless you're a proven danger, like you have tried to hurt yourself or someone else, I don't think that they have the power to be like, you have 2 days to fix yourself before I put you on med, or some shit like that. I don't know. But they can't do that. Peyton comes around to ominously tell her to cut all the shit loose. More repetition. Honestly, this movie is just a bunch of the same things said in different ways. And shown in different ways. The next scene shows Roberta telling Liz the cold hard truth and being the best supportive girlfriend ever. If Liz doesn't want to date her, I will, because damn, she is seriously the fucking best. Liz says she had another nightmare, but she seems more composed this time. However, Peyton and Seth show their ugly faces again, and she begs them to just let her break up with Roberta instead of killing her. We see her doing just that, and what did I say? They can never let queer couples just function in movies. This film has 20 minutes left, and it should have been over by now. I should be watching the credits at an hour. It feels like I've been watching this for 2 hours. Anyway, lo and behold, Roberta is gone for now, but Peyton and Seth didn't go away. Roberta comes back and says she doesn't know what's going on, but she can't leave Liz like this. In another dream sequence, we see Liz watching the shark come at her, but instead of panicking, she lets herself dive under the water. Peyton appears outside of the room, and the shark is waiting out in the hallway, like it's just kind of floating there. Liz follows it and goes into what was supposed to be the closet, but I guess it's Shark Narnia now. She comes out and goes into the kitchen and confronts Peyton and Seth. She gets a knife and goes to the bed with plans to stab Roberta, but at the last second she turns around and attacks Peyton and Seth instead. They kind of just stand there like dummies and take it, but Roberta stops her. Roberta doesn't see them. She just sees her slashing midair in the bedroom. Liz says she'll ask her therapist for medication, but for now, she asks Roberta to pull out her devil's lettuce. It's not my thing, but I respect it. Liz finally falls asleep without waking up in a panic. Then we see Liz and Roberta make up, and after that, Liz gets in the pool. A few weeks later, she updates her therapist, and she seems really happy for her. I guess she's not so bad after all, but the way she was acting before just made her seem kind of odd. a little bit of a creep. It's probably more to do with the writing and directing than the way the actress was. This could have been a happy ending. They could have stopped the movie right there, but they didn't. And this is where it all goes to shit. Liz is at home doing whatever on her computer when she hears a knock at the door. It's apparently the pizza man, but he won't say who the order is for. They go back and forth between the door. She won't open it yet because she's freaked out, understandably. But after, like, 5 failed attempts at trying to figure out who the pizza order is for, she opens the door to face him, but it's Peyton. She screams at her, and the shark comes out of nowhere and bites her head. We see Roberta and her therapist, who are actually doctors trying to save her life right after the shark attack. Everything in the movie never happened because she was on the operating table the entire time, and now she's dead. I swear to God, I hate movies like this. Everything just feels so pointless and stupid. You give these characters, like, growth and their own arcs and, like, their own personalities and their own lives and trauma and everything. But it doesn't matter because none of it happened. None of it was real. Like, well, in the film's universe. And it's like, everything that's happened means nothing. Absolutely shit. And I, like, wasted an hour and a half, which felt like damn near 2-3 hours rooting for these characters and hoping that their relationship will work out and hoping that Liz will get better and that, like, she'll be able to do normal things again. But that doesn't matter because it was all fucking fake. I know horror movies like to do this, like a bunch of paranormal movies, like they defeat the ghost or demon or whatever, and then they're happy. But it's like, it's not gone after all, and everybody, like, just suddenly dies. And I know that's a stylistic choice. And maybe in some movies, it's fine. Like, you know, if you go into a Final Destination movie, you know no one's going to have a happy ending. Like, they're all going to die. That's fine. Because you walk in expecting that. Because you know what kind of movie you're going to watch. I'm sorry. I just went on, like, a whole ass rant. Okay, I need to end this video. My thoughts. I think most of the actors were from okay to pretty good. Like, Roberta was my favorite actress. It was repetitive a lot. And some scenes should have been cut out to save on time. But it's not the worst movie I've ever seen. The end honestly ruined the whole thing for me. But if I'm just taking into consideration what happened before that stupid ending, I would give the movie, like, a high C. They really only showed, like, 3 places. And they made, like, an entire movie out of that. The therapist's office, Liz's house, including the pool, and her nightmares. So, I mean, it's pretty cool that they made an entire movie out of, like, 3 prop locations. But it just is not rewarding. I guess I'll just say that. It didn't feel rewarding. However, the next movie I'm going to review is The Shallows, and it was pretty rewarding. I won't go into the details right now, obviously. But I liked it. And I'm really excited to get that video done and edit it and post it because that's probably my favorite movie after Jaws. So, yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching and hopefully suffering with me. Please suffer with me. I need it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.